This is just a short video on the making the belts, and the reason we did this is because I was at Cabin Fever last week, and we don't have a lot of time this week. So I want to thank all the people that came to my table and identified themselves. It was really great to meet you, and it was quite a pleasure. My wife enjoyed it too. So thank you for coming. I make a lot of belts out of O-ring, and sometimes I make them out of flat stock too. But this one is that I'm going to make is actually a fairly thick O-ring stock, and I can measure that. This is 1/8 O-ring stock, and I also do 1/16. But this is for my mill engine number 2, and it drives the water pump, so it's a fairly heavy belt. I'm going to put this around where it belongs, and I'm going to overlap them a little bit, just holding it in place. What I'm going to do is I have this marker pen that marks on rubber. I'm just going to put a mark there, and that's going to be a little long. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to double check it, because this stuff stretches a little bit. I can make it short. Okay, that's going to... Well, actually, I might have to shorten it a little bit. Yeah, I should just be able to touch the two ends of it together, and the stretch will be the overlap. So I'm going to take a little more off of this. Check it again. Now I can just touch those together. Now when I make the belt, I'm going to overlap it about that much, and that will stretch. So now I have to put a scarfed end on both sides. And the way I do that is I have made a jig here with that angle on it that this just fits into. And I put the end of it right at the end of the cut. And I take a sharp razor blade, which is usually a new blade, and I cut it on that angle. Okay, so I'm just going to go right across that angle and slice right through there. And there's the cut right there. And there's the cut there. I put this down there and let it sort of seek its own, so take the twist, you know. I don't want to twist it. So if that one's that way, and this one would be this way. So I'm going to put that in there, and the end of it this time is at this end of the cut. You take the same razor blade and go through that. You get a nice little scarf joint there. And here I have 3 of those quick clamps, and this is a piece of, I think, Teflon or nylon or something. But see, it's got 2 different width slots in it, and that was done with a milling machine, so that I can fit this right down in there, and it just fits in there nice and even, and it'll stay there. So this is for 1/16 and this is for 1/8. So I put the 1/8 in there, put the scarf joint down, well, actually turned up, I guess, and check it so it's centered on the tool, centered on the clamp, right? And I clamp this one, and that holds it. Then I take and I do the same thing here. I overlap them, and I usually do just a hair more than it's supposed to be, because what happens when you clamp it down, it sometimes slides back. And I clamp that one down. Now, as you can see it, you can't even see the joint, but it's there. I'm going to take one of these needles and pull it apart. And now I'm going to put some super glue on that and clamp it down. Just regular super glue, and it's a non-clogging tip that I use, but any kind of super glue will work. And I hold this one up with a pin, and I put the glue on the bottom one, and it shouldn't move around because I got it held in place. And you don't have to be careful because it won't stick to that Teflon. Now, I put this on top of it. Clamp the 3rd one down. And give that a little while to dry, and that'll be a a good belt. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of here and show you how solid it holds. I'm gonna have to stop. Okay, as you can see, there's a good joint there, and it's pretty doggone solid. This one, it's got a little crud on it, but that doesn't matter. It'll wear off as it runs through the pulley. There's the joint, and it's strong. I also have a jig for flat belts, and I don't need a flat belt right now, so I'm not going to make it, but I'll show you how I do it. And I have this jig to hold them in line, and I have this little cutter, and what I do is I hold the edge on it thusly, put the edge of the blade there and the edge of the blade there, and then just push down on it, and that'll cut that blade, cut that at an angle. If I do both ends and put them together like that, and you have to make sure you've got a good contact, and you just super glue them with the same jig, put it down there, and put a big flat piece on top of it this time, and push it down hard. It works really well. This flat belting material came from PM Research, and I think they sell it all the time for their little machine tools. It's really good stuff. So that's the end of this video on the making the belts. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much.